Member for Vancouver Fairview.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, and it gives me great pleasure to join with the member from Vancouver Falls Creek to celebrate the contributions of film and television and digital media to the provincial economy. In fact, I'd like to go a step further and celebrate the fact that it appears that people on the government side of the House are finally talking about some industry other than LNG and listening to some stories from an already successful industry that has great capacity for further growth. As Paul Klassen of IATSE and the Motion Picture Production Industry Association has pointed out in a submission to the Standing Committee on Finance and Government Services, film and TV is the cornerstone of BC's creative economy, which is worth a combined $4 billion in GDP and represents 85,000 jobs across the province. Film is $1.1 billion and over 25,000 jobs, plus spin-offs like tourism, suppliers. The creative economy is internationally recognized as an important sector, and it is growing at a faster rate than the economy as a whole. Honourable Speaker, this is good news, and there can be further good news because we know that industries can be cyclical. We know, for instance, that in 2012-13, there were some problems in the industry. They were under capacity. We have better news now. There are more people working, there are more productions, particularly in television, than there were in 2012-13, and a significant part of that is due to the dropping in value of the Canadian dollar, which makes it more profitable for producers from the United States in particular to come here to work. But there is a caution, and it's a caution raised by people in the industry, that there are some areas in the Lower Mainland with more unused film studio capacity than they're comfortable with. Honourable Speaker, let me talk a little bit about post-production. Suzanne Thompson of MPIA pointed out again to the Finance Committee that the future of post-production is a key ingredient to the digital future of our province. Peter Leach of MPIA said, the visual effects community is one of the fastest growing communities in the industry right now. We've got a strong post-production community that we're looking to build upon. They pointed out in the submission, and they've pointed out in many conversations, that encouraging post-production here is important because when foreign producers see that they can do a production from start to finish, they're encouraged to come here and stay here. And that, Honourable Speaker, is why it is so important that the Minister of Finance in the upcoming budget keeps the promise that was made in the last election that the digital animation and visual effects tax credit will be extended to post-production, because that will boost this very important part of the film and digital media industry. Honourable Speaker, the member from Falls Creek mentioned Atomic Cartoons as an example of a company that was doing well and growing. And I visited Atomic. It's a great company and they're doing well. But it's also important to note, Honourable Speaker, that they will point out, as others will, that they can hire almost 8 times as many people as are graduated from the animation schools because there simply isn't enough capacity in the animation schools. Because they perhaps don't have the staff necessary to take on as many contracts as they could, have turned away some contracts or subcontracted others out. So this, Honourable Speaker, is an opportunity for BC to do better by lifting our game in support for post-secondary education and turning out of trained workers in successful industries that have a great capacity for growth. Honourable Speaker, let me close by talking about Creative BC, which is doing great work but could do more. Peter Leach talked about an expanded role of Creative BC to the Finance Committee. Honourable Speaker, if we compare the $2.2 million budget of Creative to other provinces like Saskatchewan, they have a budget of $7.4 million. Ontario is between $30 and $40 million. Nova Scotia, Honourable Speaker, is $5.3 million. Honourable Speaker, for a very small amount of additional funds, we could support Creative BC in doing market development research, in helping to market products, and in providing funds to leverage local production to build our own intellectual capacity and our intellectual property copyrights. Honourable Speaker, I celebrate this industry and I look forward to all of us doing more to help it grow even faster.
Thank you, member.